Hey everybody, welcome to Adobe Live. I'm Flynn, the host for the next 2 hours, and I'm here with Jason Grant.
Hello everyone.
How you doing?
Yeah, no, I'm doing well.
Yeah.
Just got back from Max.
Yes.
So yes, it's always a whirlwind, Max. It's an amazing time to actually go over there. I think a lot of people have heard about it. So,
yep. I had to hear about it this year. I didn't get to go.
Yeah, no,
very
that's
disappointing.
All right. I did bring all the best bits back,
okay.
So I can share that with you today.
How convenient! It's like this was planned. What's up, Behance? People in America, happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
I guess it's so good. We're really excited to be on Behance. If you don't recognise the accent, we are in Sydney, Australia. We have quite a lot of content to kind of chat about. So I think it's afternoon over there in the States. Over here, it is Friday morning. So Black Friday sales are happening. Hey, everyone in the chat. Vader, Steve. It's really good to see you there. Let us know where you're from. Like we would love to find out where you guys are all from. Love it, Steve. Festus coming. Good to see you again.
Yes.
So can you tell us like a little bit more about like what Max is?
Yeah, so Max it happens every year. It's where basically we have a big creative conference. And with that creative conference, it goes for 3 days of speaks and inspirational talks and so forth. They also have 2 additional days where they do training. So, you have a lot of good sessions where you can learn a lot.
Right.
And a lot should be available online as well. So if you go to Max Online, you'll be able to find some really good content there.
Yeah.
So, it's always exciting, especially features are great, but there's general improvements across a lot of the Creative Cloud suite. That always happens as well. So not only there's some good stuff here, and I think we have some wonderful artists to come in later. They're going to go through a couple of things. I've tried to condense down the best bits.
Yeah, I haven't given you much time, have I?
That's all right.
We've got 25 minutes or so.
We'll power through it.
Yeah.
But I've tried to focus on the three sort of very different areas. So we've got the UX aspects, so XD, of course. But we're going to start with Premiere Pro, and there's a new feature there. And also we're going to do a new app, which is Aero, so augmented reality.
Cool. Awesome. Sounds good. Just before we jump into that, we might just bring up the schedule very quickly. So here we are today on Adobe Live. So here with Jason Grant right now, we're going to do all the things that he just said. 10:30, this is in Sydney time. So in about half an hour, wherever you are in the world, we'll be doing some photography with Benjamin Lee, and then we have Mark Conlon doing some illustration with us as well. So stick around, ask us questions. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're all keen. Jump straight into it.
Yeah,
now?
I think we should jump straight in. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So as I mentioned before, I'm going to start with Premiere Pro here. So if you have a look at this sort of footage here. What we have here is a skier moving side to side, right? So nowadays, we all know that we do more and more content, and we do it across a lot of different channels, right? So with this new feature, it's called Reframe, right? And what Reframe does, as you can see with the skier, how he moves to the right side, to the left side, all that, Reframe will actually put that into Reframe it. It will follow the motion of the subject in the video, and then it would also put it into whether it's a social 1x1, whether it's a 9x16, different format depending on what you want.
Right. So this is for my Insta stories.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So again, and this is what it's all about. We don't just create content for one sort of channel anymore. We do create it for multiples. So the great thing with this is it is so super easy. So I've already pulled these in, and you can actually see down in the bottom left, I just have my sequence here, and I've got a couple of clips which you just saw, the skier and my tennis player. I have also put in a social media post just so you can, and I'll show you what this will look like later, but here it's just a social media post headline that I pulled in, a motion graphic template, and what I'll do is I'm going to reframe that and show you how the text will reframe, as well as how it will reframe the picture, and also how it's going to follow the action.
Right.
So that's the main point. So if I right click here, I can go to auto reframe sequence. So I'm going from the sequence. I can do it there. I can also go up to sequence up in the top menu, and right down the bottom you'll see auto reframe. Exactly the same. Depends on how you want to do it. Now this will pop up with this box here, so you can actually see it gives me a few options. So aspect ratio, this is where you're going to tell it to into that new aspect, and I will pick 9:16. It has a couple of different motion presets as well. So motion presets, so say slower motion, that's more for, say, if it's a static camera and it's just like maybe it's an interview process or something like that.
Right.
So if you want to use that, that's also an option. Default 10 I find works quite well. Faster motion also, I think it sort of speaks for itself.
Okay.
So yeah, we can actually do that here. Now I will hit create, and you will see it's going to analyze this video and it's going to pick out what is moving within that video. As soon as it does that, and it does it quite quick, right? Now it's going to actually follow the action through this video. So really super simple. If you had to do that previously, it would take forever.
Yeah.
Right? So you would have to keyframe this up. So I'm hoping all the video guys in the corner can see that it will be helpful for you in the future. But yeah, it's really amazing. I think it's so good, and it's going to help a lot of people save a bucket load of time, right?
Well, what's good about something like this is that even if you're not very familiar with Premiere, you can press a couple buttons and it's going to work for you, which I think is really good for someone like me who doesn't spend a lot of time in the motion apps, as I probably should.
No, well, I mean, yeah, everything. We always love that magic button.
Yeah.
To save us some time. So I'll just focus back on the bottom left. So if you go over here, so you can actually see it's also made a new sequence. So if I go into the bin, so here it's actually done this as another sequence as well. So, which is really good, because then I can always go back to my other sequence if I wanted to. Let me go before I reframe. So I can jump between the two. So it actually has that ability as well. If you had to add, once you have done a reframe and you had to add footage in, you can do that. So up in the effects, so if you, because it's reframed to the footage that's already existing in the sequence, if you added in a new clip, you can go up here in the effects panel on the top right, auto reframe, you can drag that down onto the clip and it will also analyze that and do the same sort of effect.
Nice.
And we can also show you how our text as well. So the text itself has also been responsive and reframed into that sort of clip as well. So this is really good. I can even go up into my motion aspects. If I go down to my clip, so now I can actually, I'm just trying to drag this out, but you can also get the motion itself. It has keyframes available as well, so how it's been scaled, or different aspects as well. I can actually look into this and follow this as well. So it gives me keyframes, so I can go into have the ability to actually go through and alter the keyframes itself and rearrange that on top. So you get multiple options around that. So it gives you that flexibility.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Hey, just shout out to Tim in the chat. It's good to see you there, man. Hey.
Yeah.
Very good. Steve makes a good point. How good's the person who's actually capturing the video of the skier going down the mountain? The unsung hero so often is the person behind the camera.
Too right. Yeah. So that was one of the bigger updates, especially in the video space.
Yeah.
And I think it will be super helpful for a lot of people who post regularly on social.
Yeah, definitely. Just anything that can save time. Getting that stuff is always so good.
And that magic button.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the first one. So quick and easy, just to wake everyone up.
Yep.
It's just like a nice cup of coffee. Now I was going to jump over into the next space is Aero. So with everyone's Creative Cloud subscription, if I move to my, it's gonna let me trying to multitask too much here. So if I go over to my screen, and as soon as I get this going, okay, there we go. So Aero is now included in the screen, so it's all nice and black. It will catch up. What we do have with this...
Slower internet in Sydney, Australia. We're still catching up.
Yeah.
The carrier pigeon that has to fly to America and back with the data.
Okay, well, we'll wait a little bit and see if it does catch up.
See if it catches up.
Yeah. So what happens here, and I'm not sure if we are going to get to see this, Aero is an application that is included in Creative Cloud subscription. What it does, it lets you use augmented pieces, so such things as Photoshop files.
Yeah.
And also additional 3D models. You can import these into the Aero application, and then you can project these onto surfaces. And I don't know if we are able to see it. No, it looks like we've lost that.
I think we've been too fancy.
All right, so let me talk around this for a bit. So if I go back to my screen, and I'll show you how you can export out. It's a shame we can't get to see it. But what we have here with Dimension, so you can create, with Dimension actually does 3D modeling. Okay. The laptop, okay. So we're gonna do a quick tech check. And
it's worth it, definitely.
It is. Should be mirroring. So let me see. Okay.
It's coming.
It always is coming.
Mm-hmm.
So let me see. I'll keep talking around this. I don't know if they
maybe we can come back to it.
Yeah, we can do it. So quickly, I'll just jump on to if you can see my screen at all. You can't even see my screen. Okay. Are we going to be talking for a bit?
Yeah.
Have you got a full screen application up?
No.
We'll just talk amongst ourselves.
All right, let us just see what we can do until we get back. And we will, hopefully we'll get back. Do a quick, turn it on, off, nothing. We do the old plug in and plug out again. That always seems to work.
It does. Yeah, it worked up until this point, Tim.
There we are, we're back.
We just have to take our word for it. That looks super cool.
That looks good. All right, so now I'm just going to jump to my mirror option again. And we're up. Ooh. Well, that was fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we are.
Okay, so you can actually see here. So this is, if I go back, the Aero application. So you can download this, is included with your subscription. Aero here, I have already done a few scenes previously, and I will show you how this is done. So here we can actually see the studio. What it's doing is trying to pick up a surface. So once it does that, I can pin something to this. Now on top of this, there are a bunch of assets you can play with. So there's all these assets that are already included. I am going to pick my fox, throw my fox on here. I can move it around.
Should have got a kangaroo or something, really.
That's but I can't.
That's what we'll do next time.
The fox does jump, so which
really?
is pretty good. So here we have our object. Now, once I select that and place that in, I can have a behavior. So depending on how I want to do this, so the trigger is I'm going to just touch my fox, and there is a whole range of different aspects that are already pre-built into it. So this one already has an animation that already has been built into the model itself. Right. So here you can do the fox hopping, which is what we're going to do. I'm going to turn it on to infinite and basically say play. And once I've done that, I can hit preview, and if I go and touch my fox, it will jump around and jump off screen.
Wow.
And jump through my computer and go back home. Huh. So that is pretty good. That is one that it can do. The other thing that I also like as well is that it can also do, if we can find this, is Photoshop files. So we will go here. So I do have some pre-existing ones. So this is one that I have made already. So it will respect the layers in the Photoshop file itself. As soon as I tap to place, it will
getting your Outlook.
Yes, got work to do. So I have built this one up, and I'll show you what this looks like now that we can share screens.
So this is a Photoshop file, just a PS file.
Just a PSD file.
Cool.
Right, so I can expand out the layers. Right, depending on how far I want to do it, I can expand that out. I can do certain triggers as well on top, rotations, all different actions that you can do it. And now, because it's a Photoshop file, I can actually, if my cord allows me, sorry for a little bit of the vertigo, but you can sort of walk your way through the different layers to find Earth.
So these are all Photoshop layers put in different three-dimensional axis.
That's
Is
right.
that how it's working?
Yeah.
Cool. Man,
But the Aero lets you separate that out. So I might just jump back to another screen. So here is in Photoshop. You can see down on just above my head, you can see the different layers that it has. All you have to do, so you can add 3D textures or 3D objects as well as Photoshop files, and you can combine them into one. All you have to do is when you go to export, is here, export for Aero. That's all it takes.
Wow, cool.
So really simple, really easy. So the great thing about this stuff is that it makes it more accessible for everyone to create stuff. The same here, if I'm in Dimension, I go to export, export for Aero. So very simple how to do it. You can do it, everyone can do it.
If you're not trying to live stream at the same time, it's like dead simple. Has anyone created 3D augmented reality memes yet, or we need to get this started?
100%. You
The
can
meme factory.
Additionally, you can anchor it to put like marker-based stuff. So we can have like a logo or something that can instigate a 3D augmented experience as well. So that's really good as well.
Cool.
So yeah. So that was Aero.
Yeah, it was.
A little bit of a hiccup, but yeah, we got there.
We did it.
Yeah, I know. So very some emergency tech work done in the background.
I'm proud of everybody here. You guys did a really good job.
Yes. Anyway, so let's jump over to XD.
Yeah.
Now, so XD had, I think, a lot of really important and super useful updates come through. One, and I'm going to try and quickly go through all that as quick as possible. I'm going to flag, just go to letsxd.com. Again, that's super good. This website has some good stuff, and it also goes through some of the interactions the new improvements that have come through. It's all easy. It's easily to digest and take on board and add that into your workflow as well. So a new one they've also got here is XD Ideas. So that's another good website that's also super useful. But let's jump straight into this. So the first one I wanted to actually show was component states, right? So now we all know that we can create, if you look over on to the left side, we can create a whole range of different components here, depending on how you want to do it. I have done this one previously as well. So this one is a nice little component where I have a hover and then I also have a click, right? So this was something that was always done in, you would have an active button and you have the press button and all that different actions. Each one was a separate component. So now we've linked it and it will animate through. So I will show you how quickly and easy that is to make. So if I just start by I'm going to do this really big. So this is a simple button here. I'm going to pull that down and just add a nice, any particular color? No?
No, that's nice.
That's nice. All right.
Could have gone with Australian colours, but
okay. Well, we'll
fine.
slowly build into that. Yeah. So here I'm gonna actually also, just for a little retro, bring in a bit of shadow.
Cool.
Drop shadow.
I like that.
I think it's had a hard time lately. So drop shadows here. So here I've got a button, and what I want to do is turn this into, let me hover over the top of it, and also let it click to move over to the right as well.
Cool.
So I have here, over on the far right here, before you could either add components through here on the left side as well, you have the little plus aspect. You can now add it onto the right as well. So here, if I hit plus, it's going to create this as a component, but it will say the default state. So the default state is the first state of it that we want. So now we want to plus, and it gives you, with the plus, it will give me two options. So I can do a hover option or a new state. So it can be a clickable state depending on how you want to do it. So everything from drop down menus, everything can be actually done through these component states now. So I'm going to do a hover. Now, basically think of this as layers, right? So you got the first layer, top layer, second layer, again, hover itself. So I will change the color. Now let's try to, I don't really have Australian colors here.
Wow.
All right, so I'm going to go orange just to shake up things. And then, so we've got our second one, which is the hover. Now we'll do the next one, which is the click state. So if I put that click in, and with the click state, I will move my circle to the right, and I will pick another. So I'm going to pick something black. So again, just so we can see the different
really
states.
obvious.
Yes. So I like subtlety. So let's do this. So now we've got our three states over here. And if we go back, we can actually, if I go back to my design, okay, back to my design. So I've got my 3 states on the right. You can click, have a look at each state. Now, if I move over to prototype, now I can actually put the actions on top of it. So here, our first action will be the hover. So that's basically lets you, there's no strong, action on top of that. Auto animate, and it goes straight to the hover. So after that, I am going to go to my hover, add another interaction into it. Here, now I want to have a tap, and I want that to auto animate into it. Right?
Cool.
So, and then the artboard, if you hit the artboard, you're going to have click. So this will go to click. And then the last one is once it has clicked, this is going to instigate. So I can just make this one tap, and it can auto animate back to our first state.
That takes us back.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we've got ease in as well. Really, you would maybe change the ease in, but I'll just keep this simple for now. So here we've got our thing, hover state, click, and we've also put actions on top of that through prototyping.
And auto animate's going to make it look nice.
Auto animate makes everything look nice. So here I've got, you can see over, let me move this up so we can all see that properly. So I'm hovering over that. If I click that, it's going to move over. So again, very simple, easy. Again, you can save these as elements that you can use throughout.
Very cool.
So that's good. Now, that was it. So that one's one big update. The next one is where we're actually going to have someone join us.
Okay.
So we're going to jump over to co-editing. So co-editing is something super useful, and as you can all sort of guess, it is all about having people share and work at the same time. So
The best thing about this is we're going to do this in about 2 minutes.
Yes. So here, if you look up into the top right, I have plus here. So here I've already enabled some people here, but it will say co-editing. So if you have to save this as a cloud document, and once you hit co-editing, this will come about. Then you invite people into it. So here I have invited a very special host, yourself. So you are over here.
Going to wreck your artboards.
Yeah. So we're doing this together. So you can actually see you have like a red outline. So what that means is that when you are in this document and moving things around, it will actually show that you it will highlight every action that you are doing in red. So if you want to move things over into this artboard, feel free, and we can all see how that will work. Good thing here is, as Flynn is helping me design this up, I still also have versioning. So here we are. So you can actually see Flynn's coming across.
What about that? Might not be.
In spirit. So
in spirit.
Oh, there we are. So yeah, so Flynn's come across and he's moving around, he's waving to everyone.
There we go, hello.
So he's also doing the work while I am getting all the credit. And then...
That's how I work.
Yes. So, which is really good. But I also have versioning as well, document versioning, so which is super good. So it does it time-based here, but I can actually go in and you can see here, I can bookmark this. I can also resave this as a different name. So that way it will keep this one if I had to go back and wasn't happy with how you move the hand around or whatever.
This is important.
I can go back. So that bit is very good to actually do as well.
That's great. That's good. Yeah, definitely needs version control when you've got multiple people working on a doc. And that's us out of time.
Yes, yeah. So that was a couple of quick things. Again, go back to Let's XD. That has some really good things. There is a few more improvements that have come in. You can do multiple interactions.
Yeah.
So, I can do, as opposed to tap and drag, or I can do tap and voice. So the same way I was doing, adding the interactions with the prototyping aspect.
Yeah.
I can also do that with into any mock-up as well, so which is good.
That's excellent. Thank you so much for coming on.
No problem
Stick
at all.
around. We'll be back in 5 minutes with Ichiban Ben. So we'll see you soon.